The Monopoly board was spread across the coffee table like a neon city at midnight. Our 8-year-old Lily had just landed on Park Place, squealed, and slapped down a fan of pink 50s with the theatrical flourish of a Vegas dealer. My husband, Grant, lifted his plastic thimble in salute. "To the future," he toasted, voice bubbling with that low, easy laugh that had first hooked me in college. "May we own half of Manhattan before we hit 60, retire to a lake house, and die with our boots off." I laughed along, because that was the script. Friday night pizza, root beer floats, board games, and bright forecasts we recited like lines in a family musical. Grant's phone lay face up beside the board, screen dimmed but not locked, an absent-minded habit he'd developed over the last year. A text banner floated across the top like a weather alert. Kayla Kissmark. "Listings in Burlington are up. We could close by Thanksgiving." The words hit harder than any rent hike on the board. Burlington was 3 states away, his hometown, where he'd sworn he'd never return except for Christmas ham and obligatory small talk with cousins whose names he forgot. Lake house dreams, boots-off jokes, Manhattan skylines. Suddenly they sounded like decoys, cardboard cutouts propped in front of a very different blueprint that I stared at the notification until it ghosted into black. Grant rolled, moved 6 spaces, bought Kentucky Avenue without glancing at me. Lily clapped. My hand stayed in my lap, suddenly cold that we'd built our language of future tense together. When Lily hits high school, when we finish the attic, when we turn the garage into an Airbnb, when we're old and gray and still dancing in the kitchen to Motown. He spoke it fluently tonight, even as a second dialogue, one I wasn't part of, unfurled silently in his pocket. The game marched on. I acquired railroads like a general claiming supply lines, but my thoughts were already tunneling under the board, searching for trapdoors. How long had Kayla with a kiss emoji been part of the circuitry? Who starts house hunting in a town they claim to hate unless there's already a life sketched in invisible ink? At 10, Lily yawned. I kissed her goodnight, promised to finish counting her money. Grant was stacking the chance cards, humming Sweet Caroline. I picked up his phone, battery at 14%, charger in the kitchen. Need juice? I asked, casual as a waitress. He nodded, already absorbed in banker arithmetic. Heart jackhammering, I walked to the kitchen, plugged in the cable, and let my thumb hover. We'd exchanged passwords years ago, back when transparency felt romantic. I typed. The screen bloomed open like a crime scene door. Zillow Real Estate app, active search, Burlington, Vermont. Filter, 3-bed, 2-bath, max $650,000, schools rated 8+. 3 homes heart flagged. One showed a wraparound porch, mountain view, fenced yard. Perfect for kids and pups, the listing gloated. Kids, plural. Pups, future tense. A photo captured a stone fireplace I'd once described as my dream on a Pinterest binge that I scrolled. Messages. Kayla Kissmark topped the list. No sexting, no pet names, just pragmatic bullets. Grant, interest rates ticking up. Lock-in pre-approval. Lunch tomorrow? Lawyer friend can expedite sale of current house. Lily will love the sledding hill behind school. Lily. My Lily. Named for my grandmother, raised on my breast milk, my lullabies, my stories of constellations. Now budgeted into someone else's snow globe fantasy that I wanted to rage, to smash the phone, to storm the living room and knock the thimble off his square of cardboard real estate. Instead, I opened photos. Recent. Screenshots of mortgage calculators, a kindergarten website circled in red, a selfie of Grant and Kayla on a waterfront pier I didn't recognize. Sunset, wind-blown hair, her head on his shoulder. His smile was the same one he'd given me across proposal candles, across pregnancy sonograms, across anniversary creme brulee. A universal remote control smile. Works on any screen. My legs felt liquid. I braced against the counter, forced breath in 4 counts like Lamaze. Evidence first, confrontation later. Every cop show ever. I airdropped the screenshots to my phone, wiped the notification bar clear, unplugged the charger, and walked back wearing the same face I use when Lily skins a knee. Steady, nothing to see here. Grant looked up. Everything okay? Battery's charging, I said, handing it over. He pocketed the device, kissed my forehead, an automatic peck now branded with counterfeit. Almost done bankrupting me, he teased. I managed a smile, the kind that stretches skin but doesn't warm it, that we finished the game in 15 mechanical minutes. He won, of course. While he tallied utilities, I studied the man I'd slept beside for 11 years. crow's feet deeper, temples salted, but still the boy who'd serenaded me with a thrift store guitar. How do you accuse a stranger who wears the face of your best friend? Saturday morning, he left for his pickup soccer league. A weekly 2-hour window I'd never audited. I opened my laptop, typed the law firm name from Kayla's text, found her profile. Kayla R. Dunn, real estate attorney, Burlington. Smiling headshot, green eyes, diploma from the same university Grant attended, years overlapping. A hometown girl who'd never left. I felt the click of puzzle pieces locking into a picture I didn't want to see that I called a friend. My person. The one who'd hold my hair through food poisoning or felony. She arrived within an hour, coffee strong enough to etch porcelain. We spread printouts across the dining table like tarot cards of doom. She listened, cursed inventively, then asked the practical question. What do you want? I didn't know. To rewind time? To scream until his eardrums bled? To protect Lily from becoming a luggage tag shuttled between childhood bedrooms? Friend advised quiet legwork. Credit reports, asset inventory, consultation with a shark who moonlights as divorce attorney. Information is armor, she said. I nodded, though the word divorce felt like swallowing a blade. Monday, while Grant showered, I scrolled through our joint account. Nothing missing yet. But I found a new savings account opened in his name only, weekly transfers labeled consulting. Consulting whom? The lawyer friend later confirmed it. Funneling money, standard pre-separation shuffle. He wasn't just leaving, he was staging an escape pod, financial tiles heat-shielded against re-entry. That night I lay beside him, insomnia clawing. He snored softly, phone face down on nightstand. I imagined downloading a tracking app, cloning his texts, every spy trick Google offered. Instead, I studied the ceiling and counted lies like sheep. Each revelation multiplied. How many dinners had he cut short with work emergency? How many times had he kissed me hello while house hunting in his head? By Wednesday I had appointments, attorney Thursday, therapist Friday. I rehearsed speeches, icy, devastating, dignified. Yet every scenario ended with the same aftertaste, Lily's face crumpling when Daddy moves to a lake house she's never seen. Thursday arrived gray and feral. Attorney outlined options: freeze accounts, file for custody, subpoena communication records. She spoke with surgical calm. I nodded, signed retainers, felt the word plaintiff settle on my shoulders like lead epaulets. Before leaving, I asked, "Can I keep the house?" She shrugged. "Depends how much he wants to fight." Fight, verbs I'd reserved for board games now applying to marriage. That evening Grant came home early, carrying sunflowers and a bottle of Pinot. "Celebration," he announced. "Got the promotion. Burlington office wants me as regional manager." The floor tilted. Promotion, his golden word for voluntary uprooting. He twirled Lily, promised sledding, maple candy, real autumns. She squealed. I tasted metal. After bedtime he found me on the porch, stars flickering like faulty wiring. He rubbed my shoulders. "You're quiet," he murmured. I almost laughed, quiet like a detonator wire. Instead I said, "Tell me about Burlington." He spoke of career growth, affordable square footage, closer to his parents. No mention of Kayla, of house hunting, of the separate account ballooning in silence. I listened to the man I loved recite half-truths with such earnest warmth I wanted to believe the fiction again. When he paused, I pulled out my phone, showed him the screenshot. Wraparound porch, mountain view, fenced yard. "Looks nice," I said. His face cycled through surprise, guilt, fear, finally settling on a sigh that seemed to deflate the entire porch. "How long?" I asked. He didn't pretend confusion. 6 months, he whispered. "Kayla?" "High school girlfriend. Reconnected at reunion." He raked fingers through hair I'd once twirled around my ring. "I didn't know how to tell you." Translation. He hadn't wanted to pay the price of my pain. We sat in the dark, two strangers sharing oxygen. He spoke of confusion, of needing space, of loving me in a different way. Corporate buzzwords for the death of a marriage. I listened until words felt like static, then stood. "I've hired a lawyer," I said. His shoulders sagged, not shock, but confirmation that his clandestine planning had been justified. How surreal to witness relief and devastation share the same face. Inside, I packed a weekend bag, woke Lily, drove to my person's house. Lily asked why Daddy wasn't coming. I said we were having a grown-up timeout. She accepted, thumb in mouth, trusting the universe I was about to fracture for her. Weeks blurred, mediation sessions, custody calendars, appraisals. Grant moved out faster than Monopoly bankruptcy. The house felt hollow as a drum. Some nights I scrolled through old photos, Our first apartment, Halloween costumes, beach feet intertwined, and let grief rinse me like high tide. Other nights I drafted budgets, learned to assemble IKEA shelves, taught Lily to ride a two-wheeler in the driveway we'd once imagined paved with Airbnb Gold Point. One Saturday, Grant arrived for pickup. Kayla waiting in the car, face polite and wary. I hugged Lily goodbye, watched her skip toward the woman who'd helped dismantle our forever. The porch photo house never materialized. Interest rates, inspection issues, cold feet. Instead, they rented a duplex with beige carpet and a sledding hill visible from the kitchen window. Life, ever the improviser. Months later, at a coffee shop handoff, Grant apologized for cowardice, for collateral damage, for the laugh he'd given that game night when futures were still mutual. I accepted, not because forgiveness arrived, but because anger was too heavy to commute. We are co-authors now of a different story. 2 houses, 2 sets of toothbrushes, a child learning that love can fracture and still keep breathing. Sometimes Lily and I play Monopoly, just us girls. I still buy railroads, old habits. She favors the thimble, claiming it's lucky. When we pass Park Place, I remember the banner notification that rerouted our lives, but the memory no longer detonates. It's a square on a board I can choose to buy or bypass, a reminder that future plans are only as honest as the tongue that speaks them, and the thumbs that text behind the laughter. The lake house dream? I kept the Pinterest board, renamed it Solo Retreat. Maybe I'll build it smaller, with 1 extra bedroom for Lily's art projects and a porch wide enough for friends who hold mirrors to my blind spots. Boots off, yes, but planted on soil I now survey with open eyes.